Welcome back, everybody. It is the Chevrolet booth right here, 2013. My name's Dennis. On my left, Mark Dickens, Director of Performance Variants and,
Performance Parts.
Performance Parts. Get my brain to work there. It's been a long day, my friend. At SEMA. I think I've already walked 25 miles. We've already had a lot of fun together, you and me. I hit you with the number crunch on Monday night because we were talking about the Z28, for instance, and I can't help but love that car and your involvement in that. And we're going to talk to Al specifically about that in a second, but I hit you. You walked up and it was like, Dennis, I can't believe that you can remember all this stuff. I'm like, except for the long title.
Right.
LS7, 505, 481, 105, 135 on the, 1.5 on the skid, on the brakes.
Yep.
And then a 737 47 at the ring. So, but we'll talk about the Z20 amount. I know it was, one of the things I wanted to talk about with you, Mark, was getting parts from literally the track to the performance catalog and onto these cars, because I don't think people realize how much engineering, how much work goes into that. And I wanted you to really elaborate and kind of open that subject up for us.
Okay, yeah. Performance variants, first off, are variants of the vehicle, like a base production car, like a Camaro SS, for example. And like we have higher performance versions of those, a 1LE, a Z28, for example, or a ZL1. Well, my group's responsible for working with the production teams, like Al Oppenheiser's team on the Camaro, for example. And what we do is we develop the specifications that the car has to meet, and then the content that actually is needed to actually meet those specifications. And that includes things like full track hardened parts. The fact, like, specifications kind of go in a couple areas. Engineering term, I know. Okay. But if you look at things like lap times, we set what the target lap time for the car is.
Okay.
And that drives content like tires, wheels, brakes, suspension bits, aero packages.
I was going to say, are these wear items? Are these like short-term wear items, like a brake pad or a tire? Or is this also then in something like maybe bushings in a lower control arm?
Right. It's both. And really, we set the limits of what they can do to wear. And then get into that kind of in the other part of the specifications that we set, which is the actual durability requirements. Okay. We do a lot of track testing. We have a 2.9-mile road course right on site in Milford, Michigan. It's got turns that are copied from all over the world, actually. And what we actually do is we run a full tank of fuel on this, one at a time. Don't stop. Go out, run from, like in a Z28, that's like 25 laps without stopping, letting things cool down. That drives things like cooling content, engine oil coolers, trans oil coolers.
Oh, sure.
And then we take that to the next level. We actually run a 24-hour event where we run tank after fuel, tank of fuel after tank of fuel after tank of fuel.
Wow.
And
that really does show you where things are. I mean, it's kind of that concept of run it till it breaks and then fix what breaks.
That's right. And that's exactly it. I mean, when you start these programs, you're going to get into some troubled areas. There's a lot of problematic areas. And we got a lot of experience because my team's involved with not only the Camaro versions, but we also do the V Cadillacs as well. Oh, wow. So, and you can look back through history. We've done a lot of performance parts and performance cars, at General Motors, and we've got that history and that development cycle and knowledge. So now we're taking that parts. The content drives a huge avenue to take parts and make them available to consumers that want to upgrade their other cars. Say someone has a 2010 Camaro and they want to buy a suspension package off of a Z28. We're making that so that's it's a possibility now.
Yeah, and you also talked about one of the important parts of that is selling it as a package. You can get into a lot of trouble. I always make the reference to the guy who's got the small block and puts the big 780 double pumper on it and then wonders why it doesn't run better, it actually runs worse. That is one of the things that I think people need to understand is so much of these packages is they're built to work together. You can't put a front sway bar on a car and not do the rear sway bar and expect the car to handle it will handle worse. They don't realize that. They want to buy parts and pieces, but it's that complete package, and then also the engineering between taking that, as you said, you're taking it to the Milford Proving Grounds, breaking it, fixing it, and making it better. I want you to talk about how that product then gets to the performance catalog, because we were talking with Shondor just a second ago about that opening up to the public, but there's a behind the scenes. There's your team who takes that part, that oil cooler from the Z28 or the diff cooler from the ZL1 and gets it to the performance parts catalog. How does that happen?
Well, again, you nailed it head right there. You should have my job. There's no doubt. You're
I
so
just talk about it because I love it. I know it, but I could never do your job, my friend.
But it's a package. And chassis controls today, which is ABS, traction control, and vehicle dynamics control, they really are kind of becoming handcuffs to the aftermarket industry.
Yeah.
I mean, you like you said, you change your rear sway bar, but you don't do it integrated. You don't integrate it with the right front sway bar. You take the chassis controls out of its operating window. What that really does is means if you're driving home on a highway at 70 miles an hour and a deer runs in front of you, you better hope the chassis controls are working at their best.
Yeah.
What my team does is we actually take these suspension kits, for example, the 1LE Camaro. We'll actually take a combination of parts, put them in a base SS, or we'll actually take them and put them into a V6 Camaro, and then we'll go out and do the same evaluations with the same engineers that released the performance variant and make certain that the vehicle is performing in the same operating window.
Well, by the way, the 1LE is just an amazing, not only amazing car, but amazing package too, because it was one of those things that I love that this time around, so to speak, the car isn't as hidden. It wasn't, because the original car, especially the 91, was such kind of a under the radar kind of thing. If you were a Chevrolet fanatic like us, you knew it was there. But it's so great to see that car come out and prove to people that if you want a track-ready car, you can get that. And those parts, getting to the performance catalog, getting to the person with a 2010 or 2011 Camaro, makes it just that much easier for everybody to enjoy the cars at a higher level.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I couldn't be prouder of the way the 1LE came out. And it is just a great avenue for us to get performance parts to offer to 2010 and up Camaro buyers.
Yeah, and you see it in your face too. You're proud. You're a proud daddy of that car. I love that stuff. Hey, listen, Mark Dickens, thank you so much for coming and sharing your part of the Chevrolet Performance Group. We'll be back in just a moment.